Hello, everybody. Welcome to this Farley's Far East stream. I'm really excited to do it, especially this time because I messed up the sound last time, and I promise you I'm extremely ashamed and feel really bad for that. It really actually completely ruined my evening. I was actually planning to really relax and enjoy my evening last time. As soon as I realized that sound got messed up, it crushed me. It crushed me inside, but it's okay because we have another great stream prepared for you guys today. And by we, of course, I mean myself. I do want to preface this stream and say this topic is rough. It's a rough topic to get into because it has to do with what's going on with the Uyghurs, and it has to do with one of the most shameless propaganda tools that I've ever seen for the Chinese government. And it's tough. It's tough to swallow. It's tough to watch. How was working out today? I didn't. Average Joe, uniquely unseen, Doodle Noodle, hello, Jay, Andrew, everybody. Today I was actually filming all day. I just got done filming for, about a casual 7 hours, but it's okay because I like doing these streams with you, and I really want to talk with you guys about this topic. I just got to be honest with you. This guy, Gao Yousi, that we're going to be talking about, who's an Israeli that has lived and worked in China for much of his 20s, very similar to me. He actually said that he went to China first in middle school, and he's basically the same age as me as well. This guy appears to be really good at faking it, and that is what I think personally makes him particularly dangerous and particularly interesting. If before we jump into this topic, I do want to start from one of my songs, The Party's MC. Some of you guys might not know, but I also like to rap in Chinese and English. And my last song, The Party's MC, was about this. Do I want to be the party's MC, right? Or do I want to just say, yo, F this. I'm going to do exactly what I want to do. And the English verse of that starts with, possessed by obsession to be center of attention, I am paid to stoke the flames of Chinese aggression. Safe behind the guise of my pale white complexion, I can creep inside the mind and spread my infection. Check it. Always not a slave to the communist state. I think that initial sentence of that verse really sums up the power that guys like Gao Yousi have, which is safe behind the guise of my pale white complexion. I can creep inside the mind and spread my infection. When you're looking at propaganda tools, foreign propaganda tools for the Communist Party, what is interesting is who is their target audience? Are they putting this show on for the domestic Chinese audience, or are they putting the show on for the West? Right? Like Cyrus Jansen. I don't know if Barrett counts because I think maybe more of like his fans come from China. But guys like Cyrus Jansen, this guy Daniel Dumbrill, I think is his name, who on Twitter likes to try and quote my Google translated or auto translated Chinese tweets and then commence straw man logical fallacy and just try and beat up the straw man of the Google translation of a tweet that I said maybe like months or even years ago, which, by the way, after he did that, that I asked him, I said, yo, if you want, we can do a debate live. We can do it in Chinese. We could do it in English. Anytime you want, I will do it. I will even go to you and we can debate in person. What did he say? Oh, well, I think that would be below me. Of course, because these guys will never be on live television. They'll never be on an objective, like they've gone on like live news in China, but there's no such thing as live news in China. All right, so we're going to start with Gao Yousi. Gao Yousi is an Israeli native who, as I said, went to China when he was very young. And he started a Bilibili social media account. Bilibili is very similar to like YouTube. And I'm glad to see that, Abu. Can he speak Chinese? He can speak Chinese because he went there at such a young age. He definitely can speak Chinese. What would I give his Chinese? 1 out of 10? What would you give his Chinese? 1 out of 10? I'd say like 5.5. That's my answer. You think 5? So we'll average it and say 5.25 out of 10. His pronunciation, like the raw pronunciation of a word, like for example, a single time, 一次. He can make that 次 he can actually hit that. A lot of people will get lazy with it and they'll say like 一次, but he'll say 一次. It's very tight. But his tones aren't good. His tones aren't good. And he came to China and he started a very successful Bilibili account at exactly the right time to do it on the Chinese internet, which was Bilibili had just really launched off and was taken off. Douyin, which was the original TikTok, was already starting to poke its head out. And this guy started a channel called 外国人研究协会. And to be honest with you, that's a pretty goddamn good name. It's really not a bad name because it's self-deprecating. In Chinese, the word for foreigner is 外国人. 外国人. If you ever go to China, you will hear that. Okay. I have a few names when I'm in China and Taiwan. 乐乐, hello, and 外国人, or 老外, right? Both mean foreigners. Now, the name of their channel is called 外国人协会, 研究协会. So they're purposely typing the characters that have different tones but still have the same pronunciation, 外国人, as the word 外国人, foreigners, to be like, hey, look at us. We're inside on the joke, right? Like, you know, when Chinese people make fun of foreigners for having that foreign accent, we're in on it. We get it, right? And it plays because there's another, it is good branding, uniquely unseen. It plays because they have another American girl who I don't know if she's still working for them or not. She's blonde and her Chinese is dope. Her Chinese is fire. I still think that her voice is really annoying, but I have to admit her Chinese is fire. However, Gao Yousi, as we just concluded, is a 5.25 out of 10. And the whole name of the channel is Research Association, Foreigner Research Association, right? Foreigner Research Association. Foreigner Studies Association. Yeah, 研究 is like research or studies. So it's like, hey, we're here to just, you know, show you what foreigners are all about, including ourselves, right? In our crazy lives in China. Isn't that crazy? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video. Even consider sharing it with your friends. Thanks, guys. Those channels popped off between like 2014, but really 2015, all the way to 2018. That was like the gold rush. And he hit it at the exact right time. He made good content for that time. And it's, I say good objectively, not objectively, but from the perspective of most Chinese people, but especially ones that are living in like tier 2 or below cities. Right? Tier 2 in China is like Nanjing, Chengdu, Tianjin. If you've ever been to those places, tier 1's obviously Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, or Beijing, Shanghai, and also Shenzhen. And then the smaller cities, which under tier 1 is probably like, as I'm going to blindly guess, is probably like 85% of China's population is outside of Beishangguang, right? 北上广以外，中国人口大概还剩下来的那个比例是多少? Probably 85, I'd guess. 80. Let's just say 80 for safety. So when you live in a tier 2 or below city in China, you go months, sometimes years without seeing a foreigner. And that's why everybody that I meet has to tell me a story about, you're never going to believe this. My cousin went to China, actually, and it's so funny. Chinese people wanted to take pictures with him. It's like, yeah, dude, I lived there for 5 years. I'm 6'3". Everywhere I went, especially as soon as I opened my mouth, Chinese people were like, oh my God, it's a white monkey and I'm in a zoo. This is great. White monkey. Can you do any tongue twisters for me? And at the time I was young and happy. And I was just like, yeah, I can do that performance for you. You know, bye bye, biao bing ben bei po pao bing bing bai bei bian pao. And they would be, oh, yay. And I have to be honest with you guys, like learning Chinese, the reactions you get out of Chinese people, sometimes it does hit you like a drug rush. And that is a certain stage of that drug rush, right? Being able to capture that, put it on camera, put it in the video, led to this man, Gao Yousi, and his channel being very successful. Very successful. Very successful. Until 2019, 2 years ago. April 8th, 2021. I want to take you guys to April 8th, 2021. because this is when Gao Yousi put out a video where he went to Xinjiang to dispel those nasty Western rumors about cotton slave labor in Xinjiang. Remember all the pressure that those Western brands had to get their supply chains out of Xinjiang? There was a certain bill that passed too in Congress. I was in DC that day, and there was a lot of Uyghurs around me. As I'm going to tell you guys about in a second, my relationship with the Uyghur community is pretty tight. Those of you that have watched my main channel's videos probably know I'm homies with Inti. Inti is a former, I guess you could say, influencer type personality who's a Uyghur. He used to start with coding, and then he started to speak against the Chinese government, and he still does content occasionally. He would post to Twitter a lot, but I'm not sure what he's doing at this point. Actually, I do know what he's doing. I just don't know how much he wants me to tell in public. But anyway, Inti has been in a lot of my videos. He's helped me be a cameraman, bodyguard, really close buddy. He also introduced me to the owner of Dolan's, which if you guys ever come to Los Angeles, California, and you want good Uyghur food, go to Dolan's. It's delicious. I'm telling you guys this because what happened when I was exposed to Uyghur culture, as well as the stories of different Uyghurs living abroad and their families being in these camps or having been to those camps. They all know someone. Many of the times it's their dad or it's their sister. It is rough. Through my experience, I also am very close to the Uyghur American Association out of DC. Through my experience, I've learned a few things. Uyghur culture, first and foremost, is dope. I've never been to Xinjiang or Tibet. Yo, what's up, Darren D? These folks, the culture of Uyghur culture is dope. It's so cool. And as a result, you get such talented musicians and other artists out of Xinjiang. Tons. Okay, the two of the best 3 rappers in China. One is named Ai Re, and the other one is Na Wu Ke Re. Wait, what is it? It's Ai Re and Na Wu Ke. Na Wu Ke Re. I personally like Ai Re a lot more. But they're both objectively, from like a rap skills point, as well as singing, just like S tier. I mean, gods of performing. But it doesn't matter, because you know how it is in modern China. If you're Uyghur, it's just like if you're a foreigner. You become famous, you start to get a little fame and a little traction online. Well, you have a microphone. You better treat that microphone with respect, or the Communist Party is going to come for you. And that means playing the fiddle for the Communist Party, doing the dance, right? Talking about how, or singing songs about how you just love the economic development that's going on in your homeland right now, and that you just really are so thankful for the unity that's happening in Xinjiang between the Han, between the Uyghurs, between the police, between the civilians. You know, it's just so harmonious, the relationship. And it's tough to see Uyghur artists have to do that stuff, have to bend. You know, it's tough to see all Chinese artists have to do that. But with the Uyghurs, it's particularly tough when you really look into the details of the horrible atrocities and the treatments that have happened there. And if you guys want to know more on that, the China Show, formerly ADV Podcast, as well as Laowai86 and Serpinze, they both do goods. They both covered this topic extensively. And if you guys are really curious about some of like the nasty shit that's like definitely going on there, feel free to look up their videos. I'm sure most of you that are watching this right now are well aware of how bad it is. And I'm telling you guys that because Gao Yousi, this stream's main character, the Israeli native who has been in China for a long time, learning Chinese, making Chinese videos, making an absolute fortune. In 2021, he made this video, which was what I saw in Xinjiang working as a cotton farmer. Because that's what you want to do when you go to Xinjiang, which I've heard from very respectable people, including 孟非 is it 孟非那个非诚勿扰的 No, 不是孟天 孟非 the host of the hot Chinese dating show 非诚勿扰 which I have no idea what that English name is for that show. But if you know that host, he's a really smart guy. I've read his book, really respect him. He said Xinjiang is the most beautiful place on earth. He said he's been around the entire planet. He said nowhere has he seen Xinjiang, like natural beauty like Xinjiang. Okay. So you think this vlogger is going to go to Xinjiang? He's going to shoot some beautiful stuff, right? No, he's actually going to go shoot a video of him working as a cotton farmer because that makes sense, right? That makes sense. Some of you may be lucky and not know, but there's actually a Chinese rap song called Xinjiang Cotton. If you want to puke after this, feel free to look that one up. All right, let's watch the beginning of this video because I'm giving you guys this context because I want you to pay attention to some details in this video. First detail, listen to the opening music. What does the opening vibe give you?
没有啊，
没有啊，
眼睛，没有啊，
行，没事，给你介绍一个。
好的。
Oh, isn't that just so moving? Isn't that just so moving? The piano, he's connecting to the youth, asking him about his love life, even offering to introduce him to a girl. Oh, what a sweetheart. What a sweetheart. Let's go to the next clip, which is at 47. All right.
Is the best time. OK， 那我可以为你打工吗？今天？
可以。
So he's like, yo, can I ask you how much? So he's
At the end of every.
he's so clever. He's asking the question in a way that's like, yo, how much are you going to pay me to work and do this job for a day? Because isn't that funny? I'm not here to pay you. You're going to pay me. I'm just trying to feel what it's like to be a cotton farmer in Xinjiang. Okay. So he asked him, how much would you pay? Which is a sneaky way to be like, to refute claims of slave labor or like really so close to slave labor that it's basically slave labor in terms of how much money you're making.
Time. OK， 那我可以为你打工吗？今天？
可以，那天那。
我可以问你打工吗？多少钱？ So to work for a day, how much money? Right? And then they cut. Do you see that? They cut. He goes, 可以. Yeah, you can ask me. You can ask me how much. But then why do you cut? Why doesn't he just go, can I ask how much you can make? And you go, oh yeah, it's like 150 to 200. Yeah, I used to work at the movie theater. Okay, I worked as also the bag boy and a cashier. But let's just do the movie theater. Ask me how much I make in a day. Movie theater. Ask me how much I make in a day. Like 75, 80, 85, like on like a good day. Yeah. It's like an easy question. You don't have to like, oh, cut. What was the answer again you wanted us to say? 150 to 200. Are you shitting me? That's a lot. Are you guys going to change the price? Oh, no. Oh, we're lying, right? Oh, this is all staged. Okay, that's great. That's great. Sorry. I forgot that we were staged.
大概150块钱到200块钱一。
一天150。
So here he goes. And you can pay me 150 yuan per day. I mean, Gao Yousi is so funny, isn't he? So charming too. And I want you guys to look at the guy on the left. Look at the guy on the left here. Oh, let's make it big. It seems to be scripted. It's so scripted, but you can just look at which parts are scripted, and that can tell you what is injected into the script that Gao Yousi received to shoot this video. And if you know what is inserted into the script, you know what the Chinese government is saying, hey, these Western claims, we need to refute. We cannot have people thinking that these guys are making 10 yuan a day. This is how you decode the tea leaves. This is how you read the tea leaves. Look at this guy on the left. 150? He goes, yes, 150. Guy on the left is looking over at the production team that's with Gao Yousi, who's there to make sure that Gao Yousi is asking the right questions and that these guys are saying the right answers. And look at this guy on the left. Looks off there.
150块钱
200块
，100块钱
一天150块钱，
一天150块钱
200块。
And then the guy, because he wasn't paying attention, because he was distracted by the people that were telling him which answers to say, he says, yeah, like 200. And then Gao Yousi sees it and he's like, yo, 200?
200块钱，他给我200，你给我500。那我
And then here, Gao Yousi makes a really huge mistake where he says, yo, he said 200, he'll give me 200, and you said 500. Obviously, what he meant to say is what they put in the subtitles, which was, you said you'll give me 150. He'll say he'll give me 200. This guy just made an error. And the guy on the left just made an error. And Gao Yousi is capitalizing on it. He's like a stand-up comedian that something goes wrong in the moment, like a thing falls down. And he makes a good joke, makes everyone laugh. We keep feeling comfortably, and we proceed forward with the show. This is not your typical level of CCP Shill. This man is skilled. This is the first, I think, Jedi master that we have seen. I do not think we have we even talked about like a Jedi Knight level? Probably not. Are foreigners allowed to go to Xinjiang? If you want to be a foreigner to go to Xinjiang, after 2018, especially when Vice went there, that really attractive reporter, I don't remember her name, went to Xinjiang, and the stuff that she recorded is crazy. After that, if you're a foreigner trying to go to Xinjiang, it's super terrible. And if you do go, you will be followed. The entire time you will be followed. But you know what you certainly cannot do if you go to Xinjiang is use a fucking drone. Even back in the day before Xi Jinping came to power, or right when he came to power, and still like filming rules were pretty lax. Using a drone in China was a quick way to get the attention of authorities, or to get like become suspicious by Chinese people around you. Also, the China Boys ADV podcast over there, they've done great videos on that because they got a lot of great drone footage. Luckily, they were there for a time where you could get it. Goddamn, that's smart. You know what I was doing when I was in China, and there was really lax recording laws? I was like learning Chinese for sure, but I was also just like going out with Chinese friends and being like, I don't need to try and become famous, dude. I'm here to learn the culture. I'm not going to record anything. I'm super cool and super individualistic. Yo, what's up? And now I look back at that and I'm like, why didn't you record things? You're so dumb. I'm sorry I'm an idiot. But these guys right here, we've seen what happened here. It's obviously poor acting. Why is it poor acting? Why would it be hard for these guys to act? Why would that be hard? Let's get back to that question in a second. Next, let's go to 315.
Forcing drone.
That's a drone. That's a serious drone in the cotton fields of Xinjiang. Let me ask you guys a question. Can I do a show with my Uyghur friend? Absolutely. Another Canadian. That's a great idea. We'll bring Inti on next show, either in person or online. We'll bring Inti on 100%. Great idea. If they follow me, I'll be sure to fart often. Oh, okay. That's really funny. Come on, guys. Let's be serious. Yeah, come on. You needed some type of permit to go to Xinjiang and Tibet. Yes, that's also why I never went when I was there. I was like, dude, that's way too mafan. That's way too troublesome. All right, so we have a drone here. The guy's got a drone. Let me ask you something. Do you think Gao Yousi told the people that it's management? Usually there's a middleman. Now, Gao Yousi, for reasons I'll tell you in a second, I think he has much higher connections in the Chinese government. I'm going to come back to that. By the way. Higher relations. Chinese gov. I need to make sure I don't forget that. All right. I think he's got higher relations. And I'm telling you guys that because do you think that he asked the people, like the producers or the people that told him to shoot this and that told him where to go, gave him the questions that he had to ask, gave him the answers that he needed them to say, kind of told him what to do? Do you think it was like a creative meeting to like, how do we fight back against Western reporting? I bet you it was. And I bet you during that meeting, Gao Yousi, I bet you he said, yo, we should take a drone. You got to let me take a drone. And I bet you the people, they're like, I don't know if that's cool, man. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. And I bet you like, he was like, yo, if you let me get a drone, they're definitely going to believe me. Safe behind the guise of my pale white complexion. I can spread inside the mind and I can creep inside the mind and spread my infection. Check it. I got a drone in Xinjiang. All the Western reporting is lies. You can see I'm a white guy, so you can trust me. You can trust me. Listen to my Chinese. All right, let's keep watching. We got one more part I got to show you guys. 654.
从眼泪的吗？
住外地上学啊，或者
All right. I don't want to get in trouble with the music because I have no idea what the copyright is for this music. Do you get a lot of chance to study or work out of the province? So this is directly trying to lead into this idea that Xinjiang people can freely leave and freely come back as they please, both of which are not true.
工作的机会还是很多，是吧？
很多很多。
He's like, it's like such a leading question. There's a lot of work opportunities here, right? Shiba. Shiba is like, right? Right? How would you, is that how you translate Shiba? Right? It's like, come on, like, right? Come on. And he goes, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot.
那这可能跟很多人想的不一样，大家可能觉得新疆这边就很难走出去啊，
走出去啊，
很难去别的地方。
没有。
那你
So he's making sure that people know that Xinjiang cotton farmers can freely come and go as they please, that there's a lot of work opportunities. And
你未来想干嘛？你还想继续在这里做种那个棉花？
挣钱很好呀，这个没有那么辛苦。
And then here you go. I mean, this is so blatant, you guys. It's just like, yo, I don't have any dreams or aspirations other than doing this, okay? Honestly, you seem like a really nice, cool guy. I can totally trust you. With any type of propaganda, look at the acting. Look at the body language. This guy in the back, the guy on the right, how does he feel about his experience? How does he feel about that experience? How does he feel about that? And now we need to dive into the darkest part about this topic. This guy, Gao Yousi, he's going there, putting the hand around the shoulders. What's up, guys? But they know the truth. And they also know that this guy knows the truth, but that he's purposely with the team that he's there with, that's the one that's telling you which answers to say and reminding him of the questions to ask. They know that he's a tool for the people, the organization, the party that is oppressing everything and everyone that they love in life. And they still have to sit there and smile and lie and watch as Gao Yousi soaks it up. Oh, that taste of views, money, RMB. Oh, it tastes so good. It smells so good. It feels so good in my hands. Because you know Gao Yousi is going back to Shanghai, back to his Beijing mansion with anything that he wants. He can leave the country whenever he wants. You think those guys, let's say they could get out of the Xinjiang province if they want, which they probably could if they put their mind to it. Could they get out of China? No. To get a passport, Inti was so lucky. He got him and his wife a passport right before they basically stopped issuing Uyghurs passports. Now, I say basically because you have certain Western-facing propaganda tools like the girl Li Jingjing, I think is her name, but I'm not positive, who likes to use the word separatists when she talks about people that like back Xinjiang. Like, oh, look at this separatist. Not understanding that the Chinese government has brought economic prosperity to Xinjiang. I'm like, dude, are you Count Dooku, bro? Where is your trade federation? Where is your droid army? The separatist. We must stop the separatist. Dude, I haven't heard that word in like 15 years since Attack of the Clones. And Li Jingjing, people like her, they'll give you 1, 2, 3 examples of Uyghurs that got their passports, they got out of China, and they'll tell you how great everything is and how bad all those Western lies are. We are obviously only cis work in absolutes here. We know that the people that can get out with a legal passport, the people that are able to have any type of contact with the outside world, like what TM was saying here, Ma Ke, Ma Li Ke, I think he's abroad too. There's a reason they can usually get abroad, especially after 2019, basically. It became really difficult. And then after zero COVID, you're locked in that prison forever. And naturally, we can lead into the next part of this story. Are you satisfied so far? Do we need to review the characters or what we've seen so far? I don't think so. Gao Yousi, the next part, brings us to current day. Actually, no, let's before we get to current day. During zero COVID, right when it popped off, and it wasn't that global yet, there was a lot of Chinese people that were, you could say, hoarding, but just buying tons of medical supplies overseas and then sending them to their friends, their family, or whatever back in China. I think that there was like, especially at the time, I think it was admirable. People can be upset because like, yo, they're hoarding. And then I don't know. It's a messy issue, I guess you could say, for sure. And I don't think we can paint with a broad brush here. I think that some people were doing it because out of legitimate concern for their family. Other people may have been doing it trying to get money. And if the Chinese government was doing it, then they were buying medical supplies from their neighbors, knowing that this was about to become a global pandemic, and then obviously selling back substandard medical supplies to those same neighbors when they were in the depths of this of the pandemic, of their own outbreak. So Gao Yousi, I'll show you guys I'll show you the news article in Chinese. It is in Chinese though. All right, so Gao Yousi, during that time period, he went back to Israel and got what they say here, what they're reporting here is 100,000 masks, 50,000 medical grade gloves, medical supplies. And he sent it back to China. And the wording of this article, I must say, is quite funny. Because he said, oh, China once selflessly helped Israel. This time, I'm going to stand behind China. You know, stand behind, like basically, I got your back. I'm going to stand behind China. So obviously, they're not going to report it like when a virus leaked from the Wuhan lab and our government was trying to cover it up, and tons of old people around the country were infected and even passing away, that we had morgues. Oh, God, look at these freaking dirty advertisements. Jeez. Oh, God, that's so irritating. These Chinese websites, all these shitty little advertisements. It reminds me of boomer websites. During that time, Gao Yousi did what he did because at a time previously, China had selflessly helped Israel. How did they help Israel? Guys, I looked through that whole article. It is a humongous article, and I couldn't find it. I could not find what they meant by China previously selflessly helped Israel. Couldn't find it. But I'm guessing you guys probably know why I'm bringing that up. Because Mr. Wang Yi, who's got the greatest eyebrows in the Chinese government, he said yesterday that Palestine has a right to countryhood, to statehood. And, he says it in a way that is very much the Chinese Communist Party style, where they're trying to be as general as possible. And before Wang Yi said anything, all the other statements that came out of the Chinese government were even more generalized. Just like, we hope both sides can reach peace again. Like, we really want to protect the side of these people's citizens, the lives of citizens. Just not trying to piss off anybody. As China is debating internally, the government, which supporting who, how would that benefit us and specifically Xi Jinping? But before Wang Yi did that yesterday, Gao Yousi's Weibo, basically the Chinese Twitter, but it's more of like a Twitter YouTube hybrid. Oh, it started to get some Chinese nationalists, and they were saying some pretty nasty things about Israel. And they were saying even nastier things about Gao Yousi himself. Gao Yousi has not posted a video on that Weibo for almost a year. Has it been a year? Yeah, has it been a year? It's like several months. Okay, several months he has not posted anything. I have some of these comments here, but I can't really show them to you guys because it will get my channel in trouble. And like this guy right here, he's like, 老子成都人见你一次打你一次，以色列人滚. So he said, 老子, which means like, yo, me, like, I'm Chengdu. I'm from Chengdu. If I see you once, I'm going to kick your ass once. Israel needs to GTFO. That's what this guy is saying here. You know what? F it. I'm going to show you guys this comment, especially those of you that know Chinese. Why not? Because I don't want you guys to think I'm friggin' making this up. Obviously, I cannot make this shit up. All right, let's look at our boy here. Right here, look at this. That's what I was saying right there. This guy's like, I just hope Palestinians have water to drink. Now, that's much less intense than some of these others. However, you'll notice the violent threat from the Chengdu guy has more likes here. Now, this is early. It's gotten way worse now. Okay, it's gotten way worse. And I got to be honest with you guys, before I was doing this stream, before I really looked at that Xinjiang video and I did some more research on Gao Yousi, I felt a little bad for the guy. I felt bad. I felt a little bad. And then I saw that Xinjiang video. I actually sat down to watch it because sometimes I just don't want to watch that stuff, man. It's tough on the soul. And I actually sat down to watch that video, and I could have cried while watching it because I was just thinking of all the Uyghurs that I know, and just like every single one of them, like you go out to dinner with them, and finally for like 5 minutes, maybe even 7 minutes, you'll start to have a good time. There'll start to be like a good atmosphere. People will laugh even, and then it just, you see it on their face. They kind of think about the people that are back in Xinjiang. They think about the deaths and the suffering, and it pulls them from really feeling and just allowing themselves to like be happy and just like enjoy dinner with a few friends. It's always weighing over their head. And it's so irritating. What's the context? So they honestly support Palestinians or they dislike the Israel-US connection? Average Joe, great question. It's the latter 100%. Charlie's Angels, full throttle too. They dislike the Israel-US connection, so that's what they're going to go with, because supporting Palestine and statehood for Palestine runs the risk of the outside world, but the Chinese government doesn't really care that much about the outside world, but mostly your domestic audience, putting 2 and 2 together and say, wait a second, you're saying Palestine should have statehood, but what about Xinjiang? What about Tibet? What about Hong Kong? What about Inner Mongolia? What about Macau? That's a dangerous leap, and that's an easy leap to make. But most Chinese people, I don't know if I can say that, but I can definitely say the people that are the most ardent supporters of Chinese nationalism, they're not going to make that connection. They're not going to make that connection. They're not going to make that connection. So I think it's definitely the Israel-U.S. connection. And once you know that now Gao Yousi has gotten into the crosshairs of the propaganda machine, we can look at two things. First of all, you ain't ever safe, okay? You think that because you dance the dance and talk the talk, that the Chinese nationalists that are brainwashed beyond belief, which we've seen in the first couple of streams for Farley's Far East, you think those kids, but really those nationalists, you think they're going to be able to differentiate, to be able to grasp nuance? Come on. You're getting paid to mislead. Okay, that is what a CCP shill does. You're getting paid to purposely mislead. And Gao Yousi is the Jedi Master. He's really good at it. He's really good at it. So do you feel bad? Do you feel bad? Should we feel bad for him? No. Nope. What goes around comes around, dude. Absolutely not. Should we feel bad for Chinese nationalists turning on him because of his perceived connection to what is now being blasted through all mediums in their face as some sort of indirect enemy? Because of this propaganda, his business, his life, his history in China will have to be sacrificed. And it wasn't his choice. You know whose choice it was? My choice. Okay. Daniel Dumbrill and these other shills, the few ones that have tried to discuss me, they will try and paint the picture as everything else wasn't working. I may as well try this, which is absolutely not the case. I always wanted to freely express myself. I just didn't want to lose China because that's a big loss, especially when, I first went to China when I was 15, the summer I turned 15. And I was last there when I was 28. Really developmental years. So to make that choice is obviously a big leap, but to do the opposite choice and totally throw that country under the bus by taking money to mislead them. Grr. Especially when you consider how incredible the Uyghurs are and how cool Uyghur culture is. Definitely because China dislikes the U.S. and the Western democracy. Yes, they don't give a F about Muslims. Dude, Tarim. Am I pronouncing that right? Tarim? Tarim. Tarim. Chinese, the word for Pakistan and Palestine, what is it? It's Balochistan. And then Pakistan is Bajistan. You see Chinese internet users get these mixed up all the time. If you ask these little pinkies or Umao, these hyper nationalists that are targeting Gao Yousi's Weibo, if you ask them anything about Palestine, anything, where is it on the map? Where, location-wise, anything about the culture, the religion, the language they speak, I would say, 95% can't give you a single answer. 95, my guess, raw guess, especially from what I've seen on the comments and stuff, just researching for this stream. Do you like dislikes? I don't know why current China hate the Jews so much, even this hatred more than they hate the Japanese. Actually, I think that the modern Chinese diaspora is just ignorant. It's ignorance. They really don't know shit about the Jews either. And that's why I did a video on my main channel, which has English subtitles, talking about why this complete bullshit rumor that was going all over China when the Chinese domestic stand-up industry was being super censored. And all these little pinkies came out to be like, well, you can't joke about some stuff in China. I mean, look at America. You can't joke about Jews there. And I was like, what, dude? What? Ari Shafir's special is called Jew. It's like, anyway, I had to do the video because I grew up around Jews. Like, I'd say three of my best friends, it's really 2.5, but his mom's Jewish, so he's considered Jewish. 2.5 of top 5 best friends are Jewish, and Jewish people kill it. I like some of the smartest people I've ever met, best senses of humor, great taste in food and art, super international. Jews are tight. And like this idea in China, this anti-Semitism, I think is fueled a lot with ignorance, but then also a lot with like when you brainwash your population to first look at your race, or your cultural identity, to therefore as the context for understanding who you are and your opinions. Of course, that's going to backfire. Or of course, they're going to do it without you having to tell them to do it. Be like, oh, well, this guy's a Jew, so blah, 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 blah. That's why you'll hear Chinese people a lot will say like, 我们中国人. Us Chinese people, what do they always tell me? 其实我们中国人把政府当家看，or 当家长看. As Chinese people, see, what we do is we actually, we look at the government as our parents, our elders, and we are their children. And that's the way that all of us Chinese people, all 1.3 billion, even though it's totally under a billion now, all billion of us Chinese people, that's exactly how we feel. Through the brainwashing mechanisms of Chinese education, Chinese people have an instinct to just say, well, I believe this. This is how I feel. This is what has been my experience. I'm Chinese. Therefore, all Chinese feel this way too. And when you say, 你怎么知道? It's like, I've gotten into, I've done the change my mind stuff, and a guy tried to pull this before, and I said, I'm not saying that what you're saying is untrue, but I am saying that if I don't have the freedom, or if in this context, if Chinese people do not have the freedom to express discontent towards the parent-child relationship, then how do you know what Chinese people feel? If there's no room for the counter argument, if the counter argument will bring about punishment, especially from the government, then how do we actually know how Chinese people feel? I'm not trying to tell you guys that I know what's best for China. But in the song, Party's MC, I said it. And I can use 3 words to sum up exactly how I feel about China. Let them speak. Let them speak. Hey, if Chinese people love the Communist Party so much, allow them to express dissatisfaction with the Communist Party. And if 90% of Chinese people come out and they say, yo, the Communist Party's dope, 社会主义好，社会主义so meow, then yeah, cool, I believe you. But if you don't allow people to have that opinion, you are full of shit. You're full of shit. And I don't think the history is going to look kindly upon people like Gao Yousi. All right, let's get into the chat here for the last 10 minutes of this. Lila, do you know any stereotypes of Uyghurs? There's tons of stereotypes of Uyghurs. Tons. They love lamb meat, which is like a neutral or good one, but there's negative ones too. like thieves, but also a few Chinese provinces have this like stereotype of being thieves, and I don't know. Oh yeah, Pakistan is Bajistan. Okay. If you were Gal and had his achievement, how would your family see you? Did you guys see the video I did on my last channel, the foreigner reaction one? If you didn't, there's a short that I also put on my Instagram, which has English subtitles, of an American that goes up on a hill, and behind him is San Francisco, or the Bay Area. And he's like, behind me is the Bay Area. You know what? The whole world's learning Chinese. Americans respect and admire China's might and power. Okay. I did a video mimicking him. It's on my Instagram. And my dad saw it, and he called me today, and he was like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? What the hell is that kid saying? Like, what? And I was like, oh, you think that's bad? Well, next time I have Steve Farley with me, I'm going to fucking do some reaction videos because I got to show you some other ones if you think that's bad. So to answer your question, Doodle, my family would be extremely disappointed in me. My family would be, if I did something like that, like go to Xinjiang and defend slave labor for Xinjiang cotton, dude, my family would really look at me differently. It would be really rough. It would affect my relationship with a lot of people. Salam Suslala. Gojere is also Jewish. Yes, Jerry, who we've also talked about, is also Jewish. And Gojere checked out. And I still, to this day, believe it's because he was like, yo, this is my bottom line. You guys are going, I can't do this. And I'm out. I made enough money. I'm out. And I bet you he's happy he did. Do they even know Gaius' position on the whole conflict? Ooh, the average Joe. Or did they think he has to have the same position as the government? Because that's how it goes in China, according to the CCP. I bet you Gaius, as well as all the other shills, are waiting for the word from the top. Excuse me. What's going on? My fans are waiting. I haven't had a video out in 7 days. What's going on? Listen, I still haven't heard from Xi Jinping. Like, we still don't know. Like, what am I going to do, man? Like, can you imagine their managers, how stressed they are? They're like, yo, Ukraine, Russia, that was easy. Obviously, stand with Russia. Australia wanted to investigate COVID origins. Obviously, that's another easy one. Racism. Where was the COVID origins? Obviously, that's an easy one. Maryland, experimental lab in Maryland. What's going on with the anti-China, Fan Song? What is that in English? The Hong Kong protests? Obviously, that's the CIA. It's so easy. But then when you get to this problem, every single thing that the Chinese government says is like, we just really hope both sides can work it out. It's ridiculous. And I bet fucking Barrett and the rest of them are on the phone like, yo, I'm starting to feel like I'm not an extremely smart, intelligent, handsome, cool guy. I need to get a video out. I haven't got an erection in a month. Oh, shills love shit slung at them. Oh, man. Hello. The Chinese don't care or want to about these. They almost want to follow the government's propaganda to think and talk. Oh, that short was so funny. Dude, you have funny shorts. Yo, I appreciate that, Joe. Yeah, and I want to see your father's reaction. I admire Beijing's sexy toy shops. Yeah, man, they are really in campus, but I lied for the money, Yeah, dude. I mean, imagine going to weddings. So what do you do? Yeah, I actually speak Chinese. I make videos online. Oh, what's your YouTube? Let me check it out. If you put Gao Si into YouTube, you know what video pops up? It's that Xinjiang video. Yeah, check it out, dude. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Do you think Gao watches your content? Probably not. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys about this last part. So Gao Yousi, his father used to be in the military, and Gao Yousi has government connections. Okay, I will have to say, no, I have no way to confirm this, even though I think it may have already been confirmed at some point. But I have a mutual friend with Gao Yousi. I even have Gao Yousi's contact information if I wanted to hit him up. It's not a big circle. Okay, I can tell you guys that. And Yeah, that's how you're able to mobilize like resources like that, medical supplies like that. I see these. No, I see these mega mansion videos. Oh, sure. I wonder how many. I bet you Gao Yousi is not even in China right now. The shills that have like are remaining in China, especially during zero COVID, it's like, you're like a crack. It's like crack. It's like going from cocaine to crack. I can't really make that metaphor because I actually have never done crack. So I have no way to compare. Man behind the curtain. He may be watching this right now. Nah, probably not. Probably not. But you guys are. And I want you to know, I really appreciate it. Next weekend, we're going to talk about some more stuff. This stream, I just wanted to focus on this one topic. And we'll do some more about Discord, Reddit, and stuff like that going forward. Appreciate you guys coming here. I think I'm gonna fuck. I'm dropping too many F-bombs. I can't get demonetized though. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna call it, guys, because I have been grinding and working since 9:30. But it's Sunday. Come on, guys. I also did stand up in Chinese yesterday. How did I do? How did I do, babe? I did not go with anything prepped, and I think I found the nucleus for a Chinese stand-up set. Ooh, that rhymed. It was a good day. I've had a good weekend, but I'm exhausted, guys. Yo, thanks, guys, for coming. See you next time. If you're curious, check out Xinjiang cotton rap. See you guys later. Peace.